So, dear students, today we are going to see comprehension passage 1 of On Saying Please, written by A.G. Gardiner according to the new syllabus. Read the passage from line 1 to 131 on page 14, 15, 16 and 17 of your textbook and answer the following questions. So passage is from the young liftman dash 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 given me. Question number A. Complex factual or global understanding. First one. List the people and their behavior that made the passenger rude and ill-mannered. So answer is housemaid, wife, employer, employee, liftman and passenger. What in author's opinion is the difference between bodily pain and the pain caused to one's self-respect? Answer is the bodily pain passes away, but the pain inflicted to self-respect poisons the whole day. B. Inference or interpretation type of questions. Distinguish between a legal offense and a moral offense on the basis of the given text. Answer is legal offenses are burglary, assault and battery, violence, box, kick on the shins. Moral offense are rude behavior, laceration of feelings, morose temper, being insolent and bad manners. Question number 2. According to the author, what would happen if law gives us the liberty to box others' ears? The author says, if law gave us the liberty to box others' ears, violence would be let loose on the society. What does the example of Sir Anthony Absolute's behavior illustrate? Answer is, the example of Sir Anthony Absolute's behavior illustrates the ripple effect that boorish behavior causes among people from top to bottom. As described in the anecdote, Sir Anthony Absolute bullies Captain Absolute, who goes on to bully his man Fag, who in turn assaults the page boy downstairs. Question number 4. Explain the following sentence from the extract. The pain of the kick on the shins soon passes away, but the pain of a wound to our self-respect or our vanity may poison a whole day. Answer is, the above sentence means that if we are physically hurt, it would pain us for a while and soon it may pass away. However, if someone hurts our self-respect, the wound stays deep. It remains with us for a long time and has a potential to ruin our entire day. Question number C. Reasoning. Find the reasons for the liftman's uncivilized behavior. The liftman behaved in an uncivilized manner by declining to comply with his instructions and moreover by throwing the passenger out of the lift. This was because the passenger had failed to respect the liftman by saying just talk rather than talk please. Second question. Why is it not possible for the law to become the guardian of our private manners? Answer is, the law is made for greater common good and cannot potentially act as a moralizing force for individuals. The private manners of an individual are a matter of personal choice to a large extent, and the individual is often protected by law itself in this aspect. It is practically impossible for the law to peep into people's private lives and monitor their private manners. D. In your opinion, who manages to win the sympathy of the reader in the end, the liftman or the passenger? Answer is, in my view, the liftman's offensive behavior towards the passenger is certainly condemnable, and he got the due punishment by being fined in court. However, the passenger can't be given a clean sheet either, just because he was given a favorable verdict. The passenger had committed a moral offense too, which did not carry any legal punishment but ended up lacerating the self respect of the liftman. He should have realized the dignity of labor involved in the liftman's job and requested him politely and hence avoided his outrage. Hence, at the end, my sympathy lies with the liftman. E. Question vocabulary. Guess the meaning of the following words from the passage. First one is redress, which means to get something right. Henpecked, second one is henpecked, means being continuously criticized by wife. Third one is endorse, to declare public approval or support of. Question number 2 from the vocabulary section. Find out the meanings of the following phrases. Use them in your own sentences. So students can make sentences of their own in this particular question. Each question carry 1 marks. First one is give and take, an exchange of ideas, statements, goods or produce. A barter economy is based on the principle of give and take. Second one is a black eye, skin around the eye that has gone dark because it has been hit. When Raju's mother saw that her son had returned from school with a black eye, she inquired with him whether he had fought with someone. Third one is lower than the angels, which means less than perfect. Sentences. The employees in Raj's farm are lower than angels as they are seldom motivated to perform their duties. Fourth one is knock someone down. The meaning of this phrase is to strike someone and cause them to fall to the ground. The policeman warned the kids that if they run in the middle of the road, a vehicle might knock someone down. Question number F, which is based on the grammar section. First one is do as directed. First sentence, and our sympathy with the liftman, we must admit that the law is reasonable. Change the sentence to negative. So answer will be, and our sympathy with the liftman, we must admit that the law is not unreasonable. See students, while doing the negative sentence, what we have done the law is not, and we have written the opposite of reasonable, that is unreasonable, and we have added not. So the meaning of the sentence remains the same, but we have turned the sentence into negative. Moving towards the next sentence, I may be as uncivil as I may please, and the law will protect me against violent retaliation. Rewrite the sentence in passive form. I may be as uncivil as I may please, and I will be protected by law against violent retaliation. Question number 3. And the first requirement of civility is that we should acknowledge a service. So you have to identify the modal auxiliary and state its function. So modal auxiliary is should, which indicates obligation. So thank you students. Now we will see the second passage of On Saying Please, passage 2. First question is, you have to read the passage from line 132 to 206 on page number 17, 18 and 19 of your textbook and answer the following questions. It is not therefore ... into the mud. First one is complex factual. Complex factual or global understanding. According to the conductor, what are the state old tricks? So answer is, according to the conductor, the stale old tricks are those. Complete the following sentence is that of pretending to have no money to buy ticket. The public owes because of having forgotten company because at home it insists on a certain standard of civility in its servants and takes care that the standard is observed. Second question, who happened to trample on the author's sensitive toe. ये trample means एक के ऊपर एक पैर जब गिर जाता है, that particular thing is known as the trample. The conductor who had earlier helped the author with the ticket happened to trample on his sensitive toe. Question number 4. How can we keep the machine of life well oiled and running sweetly? Answer is, we can keep the machine of life well oiled and running sweetly by being civil, which means by courteously acknowledging a service with a simple please or a thank you. Moving towards the next question, that is question number 5. Why do some conductors use loud voice and an aggressive manner? Answer is, some conductors regard the passengers as their natural enemies, as creatures whose purpose on the bus is to cheat and who can be kept reasonably honest only by loud voice and aggressive manner. Question number B. These questions are of inference or interpretative type of questions carrying 2 marks each. First question. Good manners are required in our daily life for making our social contacts more cooperative and friendly. Illustrate the behavior of the polite conductor with different people in various situations. Answer is, first situation is the writer's sensitive toe was trampled on. So behavior is, now conductor said sorry with an apology and courtesy. Second situation, in the rainy season dealing with people, behavior is, he would run upstairs to give someone the tip that there was room inside. Third situation, dealing with old people, behavior, he was as considerate as a son. Fourth situation, dealing with children, behavior, he was as solicitous as a father. Fifth situation, dealing with young people, behavior, he indulged in some merry jest with them. Sixth situation, dealing with a blind man, behavior of the conductor, set him down safely on the pavement and asked the drivers to wait till he helped the man to cross the road. Number 2. Discuss and write the impact of good temper and kindliness on the society in the light of the good-mannered conductor. Answer is, good temper is a quality that makes people pleasant to be around. Good temper is just as infectious as a bad one. If we are good-tempered, kind and humorous towards others, we will receive the same in return. The good-mannered conductor in this story carries on enthusiastically with his modest job by the virtue of his even temper and being kind towards his passenger. He lightens up his own life and other people's lives by being nice to everyone. Question number 3. Which particular experience made the writer comfortable in the bus? Answer is, once the writer had forgotten to carry money on his bus journey. With his possibility of getting thrown out of the bus, the writer narrated his plight honestly to the bus conductor. However, much to the author's surprise, instead of getting mad at him and being harsh, the conductor politely offered the author a ticket for his destination and cheerfully commented that you need not worry about paying me the fare, as soon as you would bump into me someday. This warm and good-natured action of the conductor made the writer comfortable in the bus. Question number C are the reasoning type of questions carrying 2 marks each. Why did the author say that his toe was not hurt, though it was hurt? The person who unintentionally trampled the author's toe was the same courteous and kind conductor whom he had encountered in the past. Moreover, he apologized too. He was so nice that the author chose to reciprocate by assuring the conductor that his toe wasn't hurt. Question number 2. Discuss the reasons that the passengers felt comfortable with the bus conductor. Answer is, the courteous bus conductor had loads of patience and he went to the extra mile to make his passengers feel comfortable. If it was raining, he would run up to the upper deck to call the passengers down. He was as considerate as a son to old people and as concerned as a father to children. He dealt with the young people with jest and was kind enough to help any blind passenger cross the road. So every passenger on his bus found it pleasant to travel. Number D, personal reasoning type of questions. The service of the police is necessary for the implementation of law in our society. Do you think you require this service for good social environment? Discuss. Answer is, the answer to this question is a partial, that is yes. The police is necessary to enforce law in specific cases of violations of human rights that involve physical violence. So, police is effective safeguarding one's life and property. However, police can't enforce civility, as law doesn't consider hurting one's feelings as grounds for compensation. Enforcement of civil liberties such as saying please or thank you are not subjects under police control but matters of etiquette. A good social environment is an outcome of both safety of life and courteous behavior. So, it would be justified to say that police have a limited role to play in ensuring good social environment. Second question, do you think that it is easy to be civil at all times? Answer is, to be civil is at once easy and difficult. It is easy because our own behavior is within our control and we can always choose to be civil to others. It's difficult because we have no control over others' civility. Also, the fact that we interact with diverse kinds of people in our lives makes it further difficult to define civility in strict terms. What is polite to one might be rude to other, based on the particular context. That is why the best way out is to take care that our behavior or manner doesn't hurt anyone and just spread joy among the people around us. Question number 3. A modest calling can be made dignified by good temper and kindly feeling. Explain the statement with your choice of example. Answer is, one can carry out one's profession with great dignity irrespective of its nature. In fact, the need for good temper and kindly feeling is universally required to carry out any kind of calling. To cite some examples, I know of a rickshaw driver who also ferries school children in morning and afternoon. He is very even-tempered, caring and amusing to the kids, so much so that the kids look up to having a fun time with him while on their way to and from the school. There are a few others too who offer the same service at somewhat lesser charge, but parents have a special preference for these men when it comes to their kids' travel, as well as their own commuting when they need to hire his rickshaw. Another example is that of a cobbler at a local railway station in Mumbai who speaks extremely courteously to his customers and does a quick and nice job of polishing or mending shoes even during the morning rush hours. I have been seeing him for 8 years now at the same place, rendering his services as cheerfully as ever to his customers, many of whom are regular to his stall. Question number E. Vocabulary. Guess the meaning of the following based upon the passage. First one is countenance, which means a person's facial expressions. Second one is treading, to walk in a specific way. Third one is assured, which means made sure. Fourth one is moral affront, which means intentional insult and disrespect. Second question. The following jumbles form some synonyms of the word uncivil. Get meaningful words by rearranging them. First answer is uncouth, second one is rude, third impudent, fourth discourtesy, fifth insolent, next one is haughty, next one is boor, and the last one is morose. All are the synonyms of uncivil. Moving towards the grammar portion, write the noun forms of the following words. So I am going to read only the answer. First one is consciousness, second one is annoyance, third one is coldness, fourth one is cheer, fifth one is consideration, next is irradiation, drabness, morality, fling. Last but not the least is sweetness. Next question. Identify the clauses in the following statement and state their types. The young liftman in the city office who threw a passenger out of his lift the other morning and was fined for the offense was undoubtedly in the wrong. Answer is main clause. Main clause is the young liftman in the city office was undoubtedly in the wrong. Subordinate clauses who threw a passenger out of his lift the other morning and was fined for their offense. The type of the clause is adjective clause. Thank you, students. Note down all the questions, both the comprehension passages with their answers in your notebook. Thank you and Jai Swaminarayan.